on. I was trying to turn the darn volume off. It is Monday night, kind of late, 10:15, and I came in here with very good intentions of doing some sort of cleanup in this house. So there's 5 teenage boys staying here, and I was not here all day. I mean, look at this. If anybody says girls are messier than boys, it's not true. There's an anchor right there, just on top of clothes. And I mean, how do they know whose clothes are whose? And they don't even probably care, because they're not the ones that bought them. Hello, 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 hello. So I just had a nice long visit with my neighbors, and the teenage boys are all at the swimming pool. And I thought, I'm just going to sit down on the couch and check the news for today. And I found this article in The Atlantic. Do y'all read The Atlantic? Well, it's one of my favorite. Not only are the articles really good, but you know what else is super good? They have the best titles for their articles. And I'm not a very good titler, if that's actually an adjective, but I'm not. And so I always really admire their articles because the title is just perfect. So I start reading this article called The Ones, I think it was The Ones They Sent Away. Something along those lines. And it was written by Jennifer Senior. How does your condo not smell like a gym locker? Oh, it does. It smells like dog, gym locker, and pizza. But I can't worry about those things. Yeah, The Ones We Sent Away. So I start reading this article written by Jennifer Senior. I would really encourage you to go read it. It's a long read, like 25, 30 minutes. And if the article speaks to you like it did me, it will really take your breath away. And so I'm trying to I really thought, should I read it out loud? No, it would take too long to read out loud. I could just share it on my page, which I probably will, but I also wanted to talk about it. So it's about how people with disabilities used to be institutionalized and they were sent away, right? And the author, this Jennifer Senior, it just is, she crafted this story that just screamed at me like, this, you understand this, you get this. And so she talked about all these families. She started with Arthur Miller, he wrote the book Death of a Salesman. Do you remember this? And I read Death of a Salesman in high school, and he had a child with a disability that was institutionalized. And so she kind of went through these famous people that most of us have heard of, and we didn't know they had a child with a disability that had been put in an institution. And when my attention really got gobbled up, you saw it on MSNBC. She was talking about Erik Erikson. So Erik Erikson is just was one of my heroes. He wrote about the stages of development and, all these types of things. He had 4 children, and his youngest had had Down syndrome. And in his obituary, he never even mentioned that he was alive. And I read that, and honestly, I was sitting in the living room at my friend's house. I could lay my head down right now and just boo-hoo over that. I just found that to be so, oh, here come my teenagers. So hard. Is it raining?
It started. Oh my God, it's cold.
Did you bring your shoes in that are out in the yard?
No, I didn't.
I would do that.
Oh,
Can eat it. That pizza needs to be put in the refrigerator.
it'll be gone.
Y'all are gonna eat 2 full pizzas
Did
tonight?
you get that from my parents?
I didn't. I guess. Did y'all not bring it home?
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh,
We're
dude.
eating pizza? We have pizza here?
No. Who brought that pizza
Why is
home?
it here? I don't know.
Maybe
Bro.
I'll
Oh my
finish it.
god.
Maybe your mother dropped it off.
I guess
Holy
you did.
dude.
You're burnt.
Oh, yeah, your back's bro.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of the
You
ones that are
burnt,
here,
burnt.
Oh, well, look at that. Look at your arm.
I told you to wear
Okay.
sunscreen
I did
today.
wear so much sunscreen.
Did you wear a shirt like I told you?
No, I didn't. That I didn't do. That I definitely did not do.
He shouldn't wear a shirt.
You can't wear a shirt at the
You did straight.
Thank y'all for going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
It was fun for us.
It was.
Yeah, Russell was the one who got all the essentials.
And then we were buying
He was,
snacks.
he was like, you guys, all of you buy the snacks, and then I'll buy like the milk and eggs. And he got so much stuff. He was like, she's so good at it.
That came in like 30 seconds.
I know. You had more
Oh,
stuff than me
hey,
all
y'all.
the time.
Who is this you're talking about? So I was talking about this article written by Jennifer Senior, who wrote an article
Pizza?
called "The Ones We Sent Away" in the Atlantic, and then I had some teenagers who came into my very serious discussion,
Sorry.
which I'm very glad.
I would watch
John
it.
Kennedy, terrible how. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'm cold. Oh my god, that room's gonna be
Good luck
frigid.
tonight,
How
guys.
nice and we turned it up. How nice and cozy.
Oh my god.
Should we go finish Hercules?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta change.
Where is Russell? He's not here.
I have no idea. He's probably upstairs in his bed or something.
No, he's not. I just went in there.
Someone check the putt-putt course. You might be practicing.
Where is Russell?
Oh, he's
You don't know.
upstairs.
He is not. I
How
just
would we
went up
know
there.
where she is?
You just said he's. What did you say?
Upstairs.
He's upstairs.
Y'all are
He's
liars.
missing.
He's missing. He has gone missing.
We shall look for him. He is missing.
Well,
We'll put up some signs.
go. It's 10:20, so find out where he is, and you all go upstairs, so I don't have to.
Russell.
Russell's upstairs.
I'm hiding.
Is this Blair's?
Yeah, Blair's Hershey.
Stop whispering. You all take that pizza upstairs so you can put it in Ziploc bags and put it in the fridge.
Yes, ma'am.
I like my freezer to ruminate overnight.
You go, Josh.
Huh?
Josh upstairs.
I have to change.
God, I'm going upstairs.
Guys, pizza. Upstairs.
Speaking of upstairs, we have to move this rug upstairs tomorrow.
Yay!
Oh!
Sorry. So, somebody's like, you need to enjoy them. Trust me, I have them all week. I have plenty of time to enjoy them. So I was reading this article. I'll just start. Oh, shoot. Oh, hold on. Let me find it. Everybody loves to unplug every frickin' cord in here. You know, this was the very first room I did a live video in. You probably wouldn't believe that, but it's true. When I got this email from Sasha Fierce, I did it right in this bedroom. Oh, there's a towel. Look at the dirty clothes in here. There are a lot of dirty clothes. So anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about. This bed is wet. Jennifer Seniors wrote this article about the ones we sent away, about children with disabilities whose families put them in institutions. So she was talking specifically about her aunt, who was her mother's sister, and she did not for a long time know that her mother even had a sister. They just said she just thought her mother was an only child. And she was at an institution that Geraldo Rivera, it was called Willowbrook. Geraldo Rivera did kind of an expose on, and you can find it on YouTube. I think it's like 90 minutes, and it's pretty, I haven't ever watched the whole thing, particularly since I became the mother of a child with a disability. But it's children naked, rocking, covered in feces, just horrible. And so this aunt of the author, she talks about kind of this relationship of how back in the day people were in institutions to how families treated it. And you would have families like this Eric Erickson, who I really admired, had the son with Down syndrome, and he didn't even acknowledge his existence. And it will just break your heart. So here's where I am this week. And it talked about siblings and the loss for siblings when they lost these siblings with disabilities, and how really traumatic it was, particularly because they didn't talk about it. And there was this thought that you couldn't have a child with a disability in your house because it would actually, it was bad for your other children. And which is, a pretty interesting conversation. And I will say, as the mother of 4 children, either the youngest with disabilities, this week, Amos is at home. He's not at the beach with us. And I have my older 3 children here. And I do not have Amos here. And so I was reading this article and I was like, have I become the one that sent Amos away? Like, because I think he's, which is the sign of a good article, right? That it makes you reflect and think and just think. I mean, I think so much we read is just, bleh. And I hope that I always do that when I write something, or that people think, in this honest acknowledgement. Yes, we're about to get bad thunderstorms. This honest acknowledgement of, what does that mean? How does that fit with my family? But she said, and this has been my experience, she said, I never knew anybody with a disability, but I should have, because here I have this aunt and I didn't know her. And so then we have, because these people with disabilities were hidden away, there was nothing about knowing or loving someone with a disability that was normalized, because we didn't see them, right? So then when you would see somebody with a disability, suddenly you would be like, well, that's so weird. That's so strange. And it's one of the reasons that I really go out of my way I want Amos out in public. I want him doing things. And I feel like my friends Kate Swinson and Carrie Chiarello are very similar, because if we aren't willing to have our children be out in the world, then we're not helping the world learn that they're welcome. You can't have it both ways. You can't expect everybody to be kind and inclusive and not give them a chance to learn. And so this afternoon, I went to all my subscribers were asking about my dermatology appointment. So I went to see Mary Helen Hutchinson, who is one of my very favorite people on this planet. And she said, you have a precancer on your ear. We can freeze it. Thomas, that pizza should be in the fridge. Or we can biopsy it. So I was like, let's go ahead and biopsy it. So then I'm not like freezing it and wondering, do I need to get it back, blah, blah. Anyway, so my dermatologist has a child with a disability. And so whenever we see each other, we start talking and telling stories. And, she was sitting there talking. My mom went with me to the article. What is the article that I'm discussing? So it's called The Ones We Sent Away, and it's by Jennifer Seniors, and it was in the Atlantic today. So if you go on Atlantic's Facebook page, you will see it. Really, really good. Really a good article. I wish I could, I don't want to get off, then Facebook will torture me. So anyway, I'll share it after this video. I'll put it up. And she was telling these stories to Mom and I, and she said, my son doesn't really have meltdowns anymore. And, I'm so glad he doesn't break things anymore. And at the time, I hadn't read this article yet, but I was thinking wow, I wish my dad could hear this, because my own family, they're not used to Amos's. You know, they haven't been around people with disabilities. And so they think, I think sometimes people in my family think, well, Amos is too much. But he's not really too much. He's just, they've never been around anybody like him. So, like, if he could hear my dermatologist saying, yeah, my son used to break things all the time, like Amos does, but that's okay. He's going to be fine. It just would be helpful, you know? Repeat what she said about your ear. So she said it's a precancerous, and we could freeze it or we could biopsy it. But we went ahead and did the biopsy, and then we'll find out in like 3 days. So if it's just a plain old precancer, we're done. It's gone. And if it's a basal or a squamous, then I have to have Mohs, which I had already on that ear a couple years ago. We have an autistic grandchild. We get it. Pull the shirt together. Why, you don't want to breastfeed? No. I've gained like 10 pounds this summer because I really like French fries and ranch dressing. Have you had a conversation with your older kids about Amos's disability? Yes, big time. And I'm going to send them each this article. So my children clearly don't feel like Amos has been sent away, because they, unlike the people that were in the article, they're saying things like, you know, Mom, can we not take Amos if we're going to go do this? So I started thinking, okay, then I'm doing the right thing, because clearly they feel like Amos is more included than not included. Yet my daughter Blair did say, well, I want us to all go on a family vacation together. And I was like, well, great. We'll take him when we take you to whatever. And she was like, well, not there. She just wanted to go on a trip and thought she could take him. And we're taking him to, Lord, help me, Seattle, to the Space Needle for his 10th birthday. Why does he want to go to the Seattle Space Needle? We don't know. Did you find Russell? No. But I'm sure he's with friends. We live at like basically Melrose Place for teenagers. There's teenagers all over the place. So I'm sure he's at somebody's house. And now he's going to get wet when he comes home. It's not like he's driving or anything. He's just wandering around. So yeah, we do have these discussions. And they love Amos. Even my son's friends that are here this week, they're like, is Amos here? Where's Amos? I was like, Amos is coming on Friday. I think Friday will be the day Amos comes. And y'all will get to see him all weekend. And it'll be fun. So anyway, so this article kind of, and I'm not going to give it away, but she sort of makes a connection with her aunt. And she talks a lot about this relationship between her mother and this younger sister. And kind of they're visiting. They hadn't seen each other in like 20 years. And they went to see her together. And she said, you know, her mother, it's like she had always had to be the perfect child because she had lost this person, you know? So anyway, and it just was really, really good. It was crazily well written, and it was just really, it was really good. Maybe for people like us, and you know, today I was at the pool with my dad. So, you know, when I don't have Amos around, I try to do some things with my dad and with my whoever. Curious if Amos has OCD tendencies. No. And, well, those are good subscriber questions. You know, I don't like to answer a lot of questions when I'm trying to talk. Y'all know that, but y'all are subscribers. Take the ferry to San Juan. Lord help us all. So today I met my dad, and he wanted to go get in the ocean, and we got in the pool, and we had lunch together. And there was a child in the pool with autism, a girl who was probably about 12 or 13, and she was kind of spinning and excited. And when I saw her, I was like, or I heard something, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, that's an older child. And I was like, oh, that child has autism. And then my second thought was, and I don't like this thought, but my second thought was, oh, I wonder if this bothers my dad. And my dad loves Amos, but my dad doesn't understand Amos. And again, I kind of went back to this. We have this family with no people with disabilities, but how many of our families, we probably do have people with disabilities in our family that no one has ever told us about. You know, it really made me start thinking. And I don't know how you would know, you know. But again, yay for the families to be at the pool, and yay for the mamas who, like my dermatologist today said, you know, I remember taking her son to the Nutcracker, and we had a great big bag of Skittles, because if when you take Amos somewhere, you take a lot of food, right? Popcorn, M&Ms, and all sorts of stuff. And she said he dropped this whole bag of Skittles at the Nutcracker, and you could hear him like rolling down the floor. And she said, I just remember, like, I put my head down and everybody was looking at us, you know, and it was like, yeah, I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. And before Amos, I didn't know what it felt like, but I'm used to it. You know, I've been the mom on the soccer field that's, whose car is that? I've been the mom on the soccer field that's like running and trying to catch a child in his oldest son's soccer net. You know, I know what it feels like to be completely vulnerable, And I will tell you, it's so good for humankind. Yes, Rachel, we'll talk about it later. Reminds me that Kenny. And so when we think about families that sent their children away, and I got a bunch of books from this article, and I was like, I'm going to really dig into this. And I think I'm going to see if the author will come on my page. Though now that she's been on like Morning Joe and MSN, she might not want to, but I hope she will. But what was I saying? I was on the spectrum at 65. I honestly have no idea what I was saying. Oh, it wasn't that the parents didn't want them, but you have to understand back then, they couldn't go to public school. So you had nowhere to go. So if you were, there were no resources. You know, we get hours. Amos is on the wait list for the waiver. We get, you know, he'll have long-term care through the federal government. There was none of that. And so, and you couldn't go to public school. So, like, what would you do with somebody? And it's different now. So back then, it was, if you want your child to get an education, then you have to send them away. And so it was more like, if you love them, you're going to send them away, you know? So I think there's still a lot of guilt of families and siblings and, the Skittles and knowing what that feels like. Yeah, I mean, I've been in situations, and I will say that I think it helps you be brave, and it helps you be willing to call things out when we need truth, you know? And I think it helps you, I don't know, I'm just not as worried what people think about me as I would have been before, because you've lost all sense of dignity, you know, but in a good way. So the other day I did this video and I was talking about this guy who's running for governor in North Carolina. And I don't think he'd be a good governor. And, you know, there are a lot of people that don't want to talk politics. They have these friends and they enjoy people and they don't talk politics. But I do talk politics. And it's not that I like want to cause some war. But if I have somebody that says something that really goes against what my very heart says is right, then I have to speak up, you know, and I wish more people were like that, you know. We all need to be thinking and listening and hearing and willing to talk. And it's okay if you're, you know, people don't agree with you or whatever. I mean, it's just, it's all right. I'd rather have friends that like tell me what they think and are honest with me about their thoughts and opinions than people that like pretend to be my friend and won't say anything of substance, or they just say what they think you want to hear. Like, that's baloney. I mean, I don't need that mess. If I wanted that, I could like join a country club and, you know, spend my life there. But I don't want that. That's not the kind of life I like. Yes, without too much arguing. You know, I think we have to talk about things. We have to talk about disabilities, and we have to talk about weight loss medicine, or maybe weight loss surgery, or we have to talk about politics, or we have to talk about boarding school, or maybe we're going to talk about, you know, what it's like to lose your only sibling. You know, I guess I just talk about things that are in my wheelhouse, or what it's like to never, like, I was telling somebody, they're like, what are you doing for retirement? I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? She was like, you know, are you putting money aside? I was like, no. I guess that's like, again, one of those things you shouldn't tell anybody. But I ain't put any money aside. Who had extra money to put aside? Now I'm starting to have a little bit of extra money aside. But I'm like, I'm going to get a car. I want my own boat. And see, you're not supposed to tell things like that. You're supposed to, you know, keep it together. But anyway, this is why you're my subscriber. You need information like this in your life. You need people that are like, I lost 30 pounds because I took weight loss medicine. Or, you know, anyway. So those are the kind of people I want to surround myself with. I just find it's better and more fun. And if I'm your friend, you will never know what. You don't ever have to worry about me, like, not telling you something. So those are the friends I want. Anyway, I just think it's important. Boat, yeah. I'm not getting a boat. I just want one. I also want a swimming pool, and I'm not getting that either because I have somebody going to college. I'm trying to be responsible, which is why I'm trying to recruit subscribers. Yes, talking helps us learn and grow. And anyway, so subscribers, I promised you a video this morning. I did not do one because what happened? I can't even remember. Oh, I spent $99 on Bojangles for breakfast through DoorDash. How is that possible? I'm seriously going to have to start my OnlyFans page. You know, one thing I'm glad I bought those really cute clothes for my children when they were little because they looked so good, and I thought they were expensive then. They were not expensive compared to the food. You hear people talk about like car insurance for teenagers. It is the food that is expensive. I mean, I'm going to have a whole topic on that. The food is insane. Like, this must be why people stock up on like SpaghettiOs. you're having a problem with the subscription, you might have to click on the link from your computer, or you might have to delete and download the newest version of Facebook. But come on over. It's fun. And thank y'all for listening tonight. And please go read Jennifer Senior's article, the ones we sent away in the Atlantic. It's free. You can read it on Facebook. No one's paying me to say that. I just thought it was incredibly good.